welcome back to another episode of Inside the Huddle, Season 2. We got some new members. We got Isaac Vargo.
Noah Rominski.
Will Meyer.
We got Thursday Night Football. It started with the Lions versus the Chiefs, and the Chiefs came out with no Kelsey, and it showed because their top target was Tony, who couldn't catch a ball to save his life. You got Ryan Wilson with the Lions fan, and they finally got it done. They only won by 1, which was pretty embarrassing, but Jared Goff had a good week. So we'll move on to the Bengals fan over here that has to talk about his team scoring 3 points.
Give a little mercy to Joe Burrow. He's not fully back yet. He's still recovering. But besides that, we looked so bad. Deshaun Watson is so overrated, though.
We'll look at the Texans and the Ravens. And looking at this game, I just knew it was going to be a travesty when C.J. Stroud was playing up against Lamar. Because they both suck. 2 fantasy heroes, in my opinion. Not going to get you much on the field. Lamar looked like a bum out there. No shocker there. They did win, 25 points. J.K. Dobbins got injured. Classic Ohio State player.
So I'm going to talk about the Panthers-Falcons game. So Bryce Young came out looking not great, but decent, 20 for 38 with 146 yards, touchdown, and 2 picks. I feel like it definitely could have gone better, but it definitely could have gone worse. For a rookie QB first game, I think the Panthers are fine with that. While the Falcons, though, weren't great offensively, they still outplayed the Panthers just offensively. And I think that hopefully next week the Falcons will do a little better, especially Desmond Ridder as he's getting started in his first full season in the NFL.
And we got the Buccaneers and the Vikings. It was an absolute tragedy for the Vikings. Week 1 at home, they got dominated by Baker Mayfield, showing that he might be his new college self with a couple of receivers with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And Kirk Cousins could throw the ball a little bit. Jefferson, 150 yards, but nothing passed after halftime. So we're gonna have Will talk about Colts.
Jags and Colts, the Colts led throughout most of the game until the fourth quarter. But Anthony Richardson looks pretty solid for a rookie year. 24-37, 223 yards. He did have 1 pick, but had a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown, though, as he actually led the Colts in rushing yards.
Now we're going to look at the Tennessee Titans and the Saints game. I really want to know, because I forget who it was, but someone once told me that Ryan Tannehill was a above-average quarterback. Whoever said that is an idiot, because this guy absolutely sucks. I don't know how he's still on the roster. 3 picks. Then you look at Derrick Henry. I said it before, I'll say it again. Derrick Henry is extremely overrated. He's not a top 10 running back in the league. I'll say it. He's atrocious. And they lost to the Saints. Derek Carr had a solid game, but Chris Olave looking like he's going to be a stud.
So now the 49ers Steelers game. The Steelers offense was just abysmal. I'm going to be honest. Even though Kenny Pickett had some good yards, their offense just couldn't do anything. Their rushing game was terrible. But the 49ers, though, Christian McCaffrey, 152 yards and a touchdown with a 65-yard touchdown run. They were just great. Brock Purdy out there looking amazing. Their defense looking amazing. I think it was just an all-out great game by the 49ers.
I'm going to finish off with the last 425 game. We got my Broncos facing the Raiders, and the Broncos couldn't get it done. We lost by 1 to the Raiders. The Raiders, they got Josh Jacobs. They couldn't run with Josh Jacobs, so they had to be a little creative. Myers had a really good game receiving. Russell Wilson actually looked like himself a little bit. Looked like the Russell Wilson from past years in Seattle. He had a good game, so some bright spots, but we'll have to see later in the year.
Next up, we're going to head to the Packers-Bears game, where at Chicago, Jordan Love absolutely shined. 15 for 27, 245, but 3 touchdowns, as the Green Bay Packers won 38-20. The Green Bay Packers' rush defense looked incredible as they were able to contain Fields and other running backs.
Washington Cardinals, let's be honest, who watched this game? At this moment in time, I just got back from reffing flag football, and I turned on TV, and I instantly just went downstairs and played 2K. Yeah, no one really cares about this game. Joshua Dobbs, what a bum. Sam Howell looked like a freaking middle-aged garbage man out there. Didn't know what he was doing. James Conner, how was he in the league? I'm not sure. He did get me 11 points fantasy, so we'll take it. Both of these teams are probably 4 or 5 win teams, so I don't even know why we're talking about it.
All right, the Eagles-Patriots, kind of a boring game. Although Mac Jones did have 316 yards, they had 22 carries for 76 yards, the Patriots did. That is just bad, really, really bad. Ramondre Stevenson had 12 rushes for 25 yards. That's like 2 yards a carry. That's a struggle. Jalen Hurts, not looking like his old Super Bowl self. 170 yards, 1 touchdown. And while he didn't throw any picks, they just couldn't get anything done on the offensive side.
I'll finish this off for Sunday night football. We got the Cowboys versus the Giants in an anticipated matchup. Giants coming off a really good last year. They're at home against their rivals, but it was just the opposite. The Giants just showed up not knowing how to play football. Saquon Barkley looked like just horrible. He just couldn't run the ball at all. And the Cowboys are looking like a team that could actually make the Super Bowl, which is crazy to say, knowing it's the Cowboys. And they had a really good offense. Dak actually had a pretty good game. Their defense looking one of the best in the league. So something to look out for next year and for next week.
Another 4:25 game. Rams Seahawks. Seahawks had very high hopes this season after Geno Smith shined last year. But geez, the offense just could not get anything going. 13 points overall is not what you want to look for. Geno Smith was 16 for 26, 112 yards. Kenneth Walker, he did all right, but he still just can't carry an offense. But besides that, Matthew Stafford did pretty well, throwing 334 yards. And Kyron Williams, 52 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Rams.
And then we take a trip down to Los Angeles? Yeah. Los Angeles, SoFi Stadium. The Chargers hosted the Dolphins. And let me tell you, Tua Tagovailoa looked like a man possessed out there as he threw for 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. You know who also looked like they were just possessed by Calvin Johnson? Tyreek Hill. This guy was an absolute mauler. He dropped like 45 in fantasy. Incredible. You know, I heard an old saying, you get hit in the head, sometimes you end out better than you did before. I guess that's true for Tua. He probably doesn't want to get another one because I'll put him back in his old ways. Chargers, though, kind of sold this game. Herbert looked all right. Eckler looked really good. But both of these teams, I think, are going to be solid this year.
And on to Monday Night Football. The New York Jets, third play of the game, Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. What a huge surprise. And then they had to bring out Zach Wilson, who, needless to say, he struggled. Although they did get the win, that was only because of their defense. Their offense was bad. Except for Breece Hall's 83-yard run, that was pretty much it offensively. And then the Bills just did not look good at all. They struggled offensively. They just couldn't gain yards. Josh Allen wasn't throwing great. It was just one of those things that you just wish they could have done better, but it is what it is, and the Jets got the win.
And that concludes for Week 1. Now on to our Week 2 predictions. And Isaac, let's get started.
All right, so I'll start off with Thursday night. The Vikings, Eagles. The Vikings are coming off a horrible showing at home. They got upset by Baker Mayfield and the Vikings. And the Bucks. Some of me thinks that the Vikings can come back and get an upset against the Eagles, but there's not a lot of times last year the Eagles lost at home on Prime Video. So I'm going to take the Eagles for this one.
My Bengals versus the Ravens.
We all make a pick on the same game.
Yeah, everybody makes a
didn't
pick. All right, just keep going, keep going.
All right, Vikings, Phillies. Phillies got home. They're not losing to the Vikings. The Vikings did not look good last week. Phillies and take their money line.
It's in Philadelphia. I'm going to take the Eagles.
You know, I might be the outlier here, but I think I'm going to go the Vikings, you know. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to have a great game. Justin Jefferson's going to go for like 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's my prediction.
So I got Ravens and Bengals at the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow might be a little bit better this week. Ravens didn't look particularly well last week, even though they got the double-digit win. I think the Bengals hold on by 3, but still don't look very promising.
Burrow hopefully returns a lot better than last week. Only saw like 80 yards or something really bad. But I'm still not believing in my Bengals this week. You know, they're going to start at 0-2 like last year, but they'll come back.
Looking at the Bengals game, I think it's going to be tight. I think Joe Burrow is going to play decent, not spectacular, but no J.K. Dobbins for the Ravens. It's gonna show. And as of right now, I don't know if Lamar is going to be able to carry that offense down in Cincinnati. I'm taking the Bengals.
All right, I'm taking the Ravens, and for one reason only, Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is still kind of hurt, and I feel like he's still kind of shaky. And I think that Lamar Jackson, even though it's going to be a close game and not a high-scoring game, I think the Ravens are going to win by 3 points.
So we're going to make this one a quick one here. Raiders versus Bills. Bills at home. I don't see anybody guarding Diggs. I got the Bills.
I actually have the Raiders here. Jimmy Garoppolo did not look too bad for the Raiders last week, but the Bills, they just struggled to do anything. I got Raiders.
Raiders, Bills. This one, it's in Buffalo. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, same here. I really don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is that good, and I think Josh Allen will just come back to his old self and beat him again, and I think the Bills will win.
So we got the Chiefs and the Jaguars. I think they were being a little conservative with Kelsey last week, so I think Kelsey will come back this week, and Mahomes is gonna shine in Jacksonville. So I think I'm taking the Chiefs over 3.5 against Jacksonville.
Chiefs, Jags, at Jags. I got Chiefs coming back. Hopefully Kelsey will be back, but if not, I think they'll still get it done.
Kansas City, Jaguars. This game is really depending on Travis Kelce's availability. I do think he will be back, and because of that, I'm going to take Kansas City.
So I agree with Ryan here, and I think if he does play, they will win. But if he doesn't, I'm going with the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence can definitely get it done.
So we got Chargers and Titans here. I'm going to actually take the Titans. Eckler had some knee problems ending last week, is what the training camp said. So I'm going to take the Titans at home. I think Hopkins is going to have a great week, and I think they're going to take it at home. Chargers go 0-2.
2 0-1 teams, Chargers, Titans, but it's at Tennessee. I'm taking Titans.
Chargers, Titans. In my opinion, the Titans are one of the worst teams in the AFC. I'm going to take the Chargers because we saw what their running back core can do receiving-wise, and I just don't think the Titans' defense is going to slow them down.
I'm going to be honest, the Chargers receiving core and running backs, like just all their playmakers are just way too good for the Titans. I think the Chargers win this one easily.
We got Green Bay versus the Falcons. 2 teams that surprised in week 1 to people's expectations. It's in Atlanta, but I'm gonna ride the Packers train. I'm going with Jordan Love and the Packers. They're a sneaky good team, and I think Jordan Love can be a franchise quarterback.
Packers at Falcons, and you know there's never thrown an interception. First quarterback to do that ever in his first 100 attempts. I got Falcons at home.
I think this game could go either way. I do think since Jordan Love is kind of really getting his first plays, his first like actual season, so you could kind of call him a rookie. I think he's going to struggle in some games. I don't think it's going to be this game. I'm taking the Packers.
I'm taking the Packers on this one. I mean, Desmond Ridder, he's good, but I don't think he's there yet to be a great QB, and I think Jordan Love has that skill right now to be a great QB. Although he still is a little shaky being pretty much a rookie, I think the Packers are still going to win this one.
Seahawks and Lions, 2 defenses that are absolutely horrible. This game might be 50-50. 2 offenses. You got Geno Smith versus Jared Goff, but I think I'm going to have to take the Lions. In Detroit, Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like a dynamic duo, and especially at home. Geno Smith did not look good last week, so I'm going to take the Lions.
You know, yeah, 2 not great defenses, but I believe in the Lions secondary. I think they're going to get this one done at home.
we're talking about the Detroit Lions, the best team in the freaking league right now. Honestly, they have a bad offense. I mean, I didn't see the Chiefs score 3 touchdowns on them. Didn't happen. Seahawks, on the other hand, Seahawks are a travesty to the name of football. The Lions, Jared Goff, when he plays in an indoor stadium, is honestly, I don't know if we could put him there, but he looks like he could be the second coming of Christ when he plays in an indoor stadium. The Lions are probably going to drop 40. It's going to be a blowout.
See, but I think most people might say that the Lions are going to win, but I know Geno Smith. Geno Smith did not write back, and that's why he is going to win this game.
So we got the Colts and Texans. One of those games this week. It's a 1 o'clock. You're not gonna watch it. It's on Fox, but you're just not gonna watch it. It's 2 rookie quarterbacks. You got Richardson versus my boy C.J. Stroud, Ohio State. I'm gonna take the Texans at home. I think C.J. Stroud is a more proven quarterback, and I think Damian Pierce and Nico Collins have a lot of upside. So I think at home they're gonna get their first win.
Yeah, 2 rookie quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. Stroud was not even able to throw for a touchdown, or their whole offense was. I'm thinking Colts.
Colts, Texans. AR-15 has a shot to be the best quarterback in the draft. I think so with his running ability. C.J. Stroud has never won a big game in his career. He's never stepped up, came back, won a big game. Never happened. You could say, well, he won the Rose Bowl. Doesn't count. I think the Colts are going to win. Anthony Richardson, he'll probably go for like 4 picks, but it won't matter.
Yeah, kind of like what Ryan said. I think this game is just going to be a pick fest. I think there's going to be like 7 combined picks this game, but I think the Colts will probably sneak this one out.
Bears and the up-and-coming Bucks. I like the Bears because I think Justin Fields was not what he showed last week. He had a lot of rushes, but couldn't get that breakout rush. I think Fields is going to throw the ball way better. DJ Moore and him are going to have a way better combination. So I'm going to take them at home against the Bucks.
Bears Fields hopefully bounce back after poor last week. I do not believe in Baker Mayfield at all. I'm taking the Bears.
I think at this point you could say that both of these teams are potentially wildcard teams, just depending on Mayfield and Fields. Fields looks like he can be a dog. Mayfield, we don't know. On this one, I think I'm going to have to take the Buccaneers because away for Fields, I think he's going to struggle a little bit getting going. And honestly, I feel like he'll play good on the ground. It's just his team they're just not going to do anything else.
So I'm taking the Bucs on this one. I honestly think Justin Fields just isn't that good yet. I think Baker Mayfield also isn't great, but Baker Mayfield's more consistent than Justin Fields, and I think this is going to be one of those games where Justin Fields just struggles passing. He may be able to get a couple runs off, but passing-wise, I think he's just going to struggle, and I think the Bucs are going to put up like 17, 20 points, and they're going to win by a touchdown.
We got our first 4 o'clock start. We got the Giants versus the Cardinals. And I don't care what the Giants did last week. They're playing the Cardinals, maybe one of the worst teams I've ever seen, with Joshua Dobbs being their guy, it seems like. So I'm taking the Giants by more than 10 points.
Yeah, Joshua Dobbs at quarterback is just not going to get it done for any team in this league. I got Giants.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, I think he's really going to have a bounce-back game. He'll probably go for upwards to 150 yards. I don't see the Cardinals pulling out a dub here.
Although the Giants did have it bad last week, I mean, come on. It's the Cardinals. Like, they're just not going to win. I'm sorry. Joshua Dobbs is throwing for a touchdown, maybe. And I think the Giants are going to win by at least 10.
So we got the 49ers and the Rams, 2 1-1 teams in Los Angeles. Rams still do not have Cooper Kupp. 49ers defense looked amazing last week against the Steelers team that people thought were probably going to be a bounce-back team, a good offense. But I think the 49ers take this one, but close against the Rams.
Yeah, Rams do get a win last week with not very good looks for this incoming season, but I don't think it'll matter against this dominant San Fran team. I got San Francisco.
I think San Francisco is going to come out hot, and it's going to be too late for the Rams to mount a comeback. Like Isaac said, I think it's going to be somewhat close, actually. But the Rams win. They beat the Seahawks. That's not that impressive of a win. So I still think the Niners are going to win.
I mean, I'm gonna. It's pretty hard not to take the 49ers here. Their offense is just amazing, and their defense is even better. I think the 49ers are going to win by a landslide.
So the Jets and the Cowboys, two teams that were most exciting teams coming into this year and showed in Week 1 in Dallas. I just think with Aaron Rodgers' absence, I think the Cowboys get this one done. I think their defense is just too good for the Jets, and especially at home.
Jets, Dallas, I think it's Zach Wilson revenge season. I got the Jets taking this one. Might be a bit of an upset, but I just think their defense is just so good they'll be able to contain Dak.
Jets, Cowboys, two teams that recently have had an injured quarterback. The Jets, I don't see them scoring more than 10 points. I think it was a very lucky win against the Bills. Josh Allen played like garbage. They got a punt return touchdown for the win. I think the Cowboys are going to steamroll them, but the Cowboys are just maybe a tad bit overrated.
Yeah, with Zach Wilson at QB, you're just not going to win many games, and this is definitely one of those games you're not going to win. So I'm taking the Cowboys.
So we got an in-division rival for Sunday night football. We got the Dolphins versus the Patriots. And I think if you look at Mac Jones' stats,
Just get your own team, bro.
yeah, I know. All right, we got the Commanders and the Broncos. I almost forgot. Shouldn't have forgot because primetime Russell Wilson is going to show up, and if he doesn't win this game, we might be looking at the second worst team besides Arizona. So I'm taking the Broncos. Let's ride.
Yeah, I guess let's ride. The Broncos are not going to lose to the Commanders here. I know Sam Howell, he didn't look too bad, but he's just not going to get it done against this Denver defense.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to pick up a dub here. It may be ugly, but I do think they're going to pull out a dub.
I'm going Commanders on this one. I don't think the Broncos' offense is that good, and the Commanders won last week. I know it probably wasn't a great win. They still won, and the Broncos still lost. I think I'm picking the Commanders here.
So we got a division matchup for Sunday night football. We got the Dolphins versus the Patriots. If you look at Mac Jones' stats from last week, you might not have watched the Patriots game. They took the L. But he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He might have thrown the ball 100 times, but he's going against a team that the Dolphins played a really bad defense last week. They just got lucky with Tua's offense. But I'm taking the Patriots at home. Maybe Tom Brady will be there. Well, I'm taking the Patriots with an upset.
I just don't see the Patriots defense being able to stop this dynamic wide receiver duo of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. 466 yards last week for Tua is just incredible. I got the Dolphins.
I, in fact, will not be waiting all day for Sunday night. This game is probably going to be 50-0. The Patriots, Bill Belichick's going to go out there looking like he just saw a family of 4 die. He's going to have his hood up, getting ready to coach an absolute shutout. And the Dolphins are probably going to drop like maybe 8,000, who knows, but this game's not going to be close.
Honestly, I think this game's going to be close. I think, although Mac Jones isn't exactly the greatest QB ever, I think he is a good enough QB to put up a lot of points. And I think this is going to be a close game, a high-scoring game. I'm thinking like 30-21, something like that. That's going to be a good game, although the Dolphins are still going to win.
So we got a doubleheader for Monday night this week. And the first one is just not one you're going to be watching. It's Monday night, but you got the Browns and Steelers for 8:15, but for 7:15, you got the Saints and the Panthers. I mean, who wants to watch either of those teams besides Noah over here. I mean, you got Derek Carr versus Bryce Young, who looks like 10 times worse than Kyler Murray. So I'm taking the Saints just because the Panthers have Bryce Young.
Yeah, like Isaac said, Bryce Young just like at least in week 1, just like a literal less stocky Kyler Murray. I do not believe in anything Carolina has going, and I'm going to take the Saints.
I think all the Saints are is smoke and mirrors, and I'm going to take the Panthers getting a dub at home here.
You know, Monday night's actually my birthday. You know, I'm really hoping as a Carolina Panthers fan for a nice birthday present with the Panthers win against a division rival. I think Bryce Young is going to have a bounce-back game with like 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and I think they're going to beat the Saints.
So we got the other matchup, the AFC North matchup between the Browns and the Steelers. A little better matchup here, 8:15 start on ABC. We got the Browns and Steelers, like I just said. I think the Steelers are looking for revenge. They just played absolutely horrible at home last week. They looked like I don't even know. I can't even describe in words. Like Najee Harris is absolutely horrible. I mean, one of the biggest busts I've ever seen in my life. But I think Deshaun Watson and Chubb, I'm taking them to win the AFC North this year. I think the Browns get done.
Pittsburgh coming back after week 1, taking a huge loss to the San Francisco 49ers. But I don't think that necessarily means anything. It's the 49ers probably the best team in the league on every stat. I'm taking the Steelers at home to beat the Brownies.
I think that the Browns are just going to roll into Pittsburgh and rock the Steelers. The Steelers, their offense stinks, and the Browns just played the Bengals and held them to 3 points. I think Myles Garrett, as long as he doesn't freaking hit someone with a helmet, they should be good and pick up a dub here.
I think this game is going to be a boring game, but I think the Steelers are probably going to win this one. Even though their offense was pretty bad, I think the Steelers are going to win this one. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have a decent game, and I think the Browns are going to struggle, and I think they're going to easily win this one.
And that concludes it for episode 1 of Inside the Huddle. Tune in next week to see Loaf get all his predictions wrong.